Q, Clark, and Cott back with you. Let's go through the brackets. Number 1, Notre Dame. We just revealed their seed. Who will they play? The play-in game. The opening round game. Albany and Sacred Heart. Albany. Albany. The Great Danes celebrating. Saw them singing in the locker room.
Purple Haze.
Yeah, Q.
11th NCAA tournament bid.
And they'll face Clark. A daunting task. The winner of that game, the Fighting Irish.
They ended the season number 1, hoisting the trophy for the first time in school history. Dare I say this team is more complete and even better? It appears that way. They've been dominant. The Kavanaugh brothers obviously had attack with Jake Taylor. And it's the emergence of this midfield. You know about Eric Dobson, but the freshman Jordan Faison has made this team complete because he's an electric playmaker with a first step that's like a hiccup.
Sunday 2:30 game. Georgetown, the 8th seed, will play host to Penn State. That's an interesting matchup, too. Penn State, the number 2 team out of the Big Ten, will go on the road to take on the Georgetown Hoyas, Card.
Yeah, I think Penn State has one of the top goaltenders in the nation, and Jack Frasian, who struggled in the Big Ten championship, and he has to deal with an offense in Georgetown that really can fill it up. There's a couple guys on the midfield that are pro prospects. One is that guy right there, Graham Bundy Jr.
Penn State's really got the same team from last year that went to championship weekend. They were a goal away from playing in the NCAA finals, led by goalie Jack Frasian.
Let's move on. The 4-5 bracket. Again, we showed you the seeded teams moments ago. So Denver, they'll play host on Saturday at 5 o'clock Eastern to Michigan. So the Big Ten champions will make their way out west, and the Wolverines celebrating another Big Ten title.
It's a refuse-to-lose mentality with Kevin Connery and that staff, and then the senior leadership, guys like Michael Boehm, I think, have really captivated that program in terms of their leadership. And then Denver is a team with first-year coach Matt Brown, who's taken over for the legendary coach Bill Tierney, who has more national titles than anyone. There's a buzz in Denver, man. Wow. They get behind the Pios.
Yeah, they've gotten great crowds this year. It's an excellent defense. It's a veteran team, a bunch of older guys. In the face-off matchup, Alex Stathakis going head-to-head with Justin Wheatfeld in this game will be compelling. I like the defense of Coach Matt Brown and the Pios.
Rolling on, Syracuse. Who's going up to the Dome? The Sunday night game, Towson. That's a rematch of what? The 1991 National Championship game, old school Q. Towson, they're fired up. They're one of the hottest teams in the country coming into this thing.
13-3. They've won 9 straight games. Again, they too have a strong face-off game with Matt Constantinides, but Nick DeMeo and Mikey Weishauer have been dominant.
I think Mikey Weishauer is one of the most underrated offensive players in the country. He's a big recruit, decided to stay home in Baltimore to play for Sean Nadalin. But Cuse has all the pieces to make a run for championship weekend, and the midfield play by Jake Stevens and fellow Canadian and high school teammate Owen Hiltz has been spectacular. Joey Spallina is 4th in the country in overall points, and they have lots of veteran leadership and pieces to a puzzle to support the young stars like Spallina.
Number 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament was Johns Hopkins. Sunday at noon, Homewood welcomes Lehigh, the Patriot champs. So Lehigh, Q, when you think about the type of play, the style of play, Lehigh wants to slow it down and muck it up, don't they?
They beat BU in the league championship game with a late game comeback. Congratulations to their first-year head coach, Will Scudder. Scott Cole is an excellent offensive player, and Richard Checo is a master of destruction.
You know, it's interesting. John Crawley, the offensive coordinator, coached at Lehigh, and he recruited a lot of those players that are on the Mountain Hawks team. And he has a wealth of talented players like Garrett Degnan, who could stretch a defense with a hammer of a shot. Jacob Angeles is one of the best playmakers from behind the cage because of his vision as a passer and a scorer.
Hopkins finding their way back, looking for championship weekend. Offense the last 2 outings has been a little shaky.
Virginia in Charlottesville at Klockner. Noon on Saturday plays St. Joe's. And, Clark, this is a tough St. Joe's team, isn't it?
Tough is an understatement. This is probably the one unseeded team I would want nothing to do with.
Really?
Yes. We had them when they were in New Haven at Yale in the first round, and they took the Bulldogs to the wire, and they have so many of those same characters still on the team. Matt Bomar's a 4-time captain. Levi Anderson scored 7 goals against Richmond. Carter Page is the inside threat. Levi Burks running the middle of the field. Virginia has a serious problem on their hands with St. Joe's because they don't care that they're going down to play against them. And I think this is a midfield group that needs to wake up for Lars Tiffany to support some of the attack play. The production of that group, I think, will dictate how they end their season at Virginia.
The 2 seed, the Duke Blue Devils, at Koskinen. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to start with Maryland first. 7:30 on Saturday. Princeton, so the Ivy League champs, Princeton, heads to College Park to take on Maryland. Yeah, they're not tired from their 2 games in 3 days. Celebrating big time.
It's a team that's really played excellent lacrosse over the last 3 games. They got stars at each level, whether it's Colter McAsee on attack, Colin Mulshine on defense, their Fogo Andrew McMeekin, or goalie Michael Gianfrancaro. And now you got experience. Young team, yeah, but they've been in the tournament before.
Young team indeed. More than half their goals are from the freshman class. And this is a sophomore, Braden Urza, that has hyper speed in terms of his dodging ability. I think the Terps have been searching for an identity offensively. 2 years ago in 2022, when they were undefeated and won the championship, the ball moved so fast and everyone kind of fit a piece to a puzzle. I just think there might be some lack of playmakers offensively to provide the constant punch that we're expected from Maryland. But this is a great opportunity. This is one of the best games of the weekend.
Now the 2 seed Duke Blue Devils rounding things out, and they'll take on Utah from the A-Sun. So 12-4. Clark, Utah, once again in this tournament.
This is an interesting team. 4th in goals per game, 4th in fewest turnovers per game. So this is an ultra-efficient offense. They can make you pay. Ryan Steins and Tyler Bradbury, both over 50 points on the season. But they have to deal with Duke, and Duke has the best player talent-wise in the country in Brennan O'Neill. And Andrew McAdory now just switched to attack in the ACC tournament. He had 5 goals Friday night against Syracuse, so he adds another dimension, Quinn.
Duke's a tough read. Moments of greatness where they look like a national champion. Yeah. Moments where they might not win this first-round game.